Hello, warriors. Today I'm going to go over with you how to use Gale databases to do a research project on a controversial issue or like an argument essay topic. So the two databases that are great for these assignments are Opposing Viewpoints in Context, which is listed here, and Global Issues in Context. The difference is Opposing Viewpoints in Context is going to have a United States focus, and Global Issues in Context is going to be a worldwide focus. So the first thing you need to decide before you get started is if your issue is a worldwide issue or if it's something that's United States specific. For example, gun control is handled completely differently in different countries. So if you want to talk about gun control in the US, you would want to use Opposing Viewpoints in Context. However, immigration is certainly a worldwide issue, or refugees. So then if your topic was something like that, you would want to use Global Issues in Context to get that worldwide point of view. So I'm just going to show you one of them today because the databases look and function exactly the same. The only difference is going to be the type of information included. So to get to the databases, I'm just going to click on the link in my Resources for Argument Essays sheet or Google Doc, and that link is right there. And when you're at school, you should click and it'll go right through. Now it is a little different when you're at home. And when you're at home, you might need a password, or if there's a username required, those are both listed in the table to the right of the link. Okay, so Gale Opposing Viewpoints. You can do a search right up here at the top, and you can type in your issue. I mentioned gun control as a possible one, so I can do that search. There are other options how to find issues. There's highlighted ones up at the top. There's also a list of all the issues. You can hit the Browse Issues button and find a list of all of them. This is one of the things that I like to look over every once in a while. I love to see that they're updating the issues all the time, so they'll add that little sticker when there's an issue that they've reviewed recently. So let's just say for today that our issue is school dress codes, which is awesome. That's an updated one, and it's really popular. Okay, so before I even start searching through the articles, there is a quick overview of the issue. So I really like that. So this is just a overview article that's going to explain, here's why school dress codes are an issue. So there's pros and cons. And this is actually a pretty long overview article. At the bottom, there's some questions. And so you might decide that that overview article actually has something really interesting that you would like to include in your essay or in your project, and you can certainly choose to do that. To save an article from Gale, you're going to click this Send to Google Drive button. I'm on a school Chromebook, so I'm already logged into my school Google Drive, and I'm just going to make sure to select that account. And that document now is going to get sent over to my Google Drive. Let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to open my drive, and I always go to Recent, and then my article will come right to the top of that list. And there it is, school dress codes. So I can click on that and see the exact same article that I was looking at in Gale is now saved to my Google Drive. So that could be good for one source, but of course I'm going to need quite a few. So I'm going to go back to the database and go back to my list of results, because I barely even started looking. So as you can see here, they break down the results into different categories based on the type of resource. I always recommend students look at news sources. So there's 783 news articles, and I also recommend magazine sources. There's 102 articles on this topic. So that's certainly plenty to look through that will have both sides of your issue covered between those two different kinds. So I recommend news and magazine sources because those are going to be more readable and have less academic language or less subject-specific language, and just generally be more accessible to our students in high school. But you are certainly welcome to try any of the other types of resources if you prefer. So I'm going to go to magazines today. And the next thing I like to do on this database is to also sort by content level. So up here under sort by, I can choose content level. And it will then put this list in order of the ones that are easiest to read all the way up to the articles that are hardest to read. And I always recommend that because I think that sometimes when we're doing research, it can get discouraging to start with something that's really hard to read and then feel like there's just too much and it takes too long for me to figure out what it's even saying. So I kind of like to pull the easier articles to the very top and start there. So I like that I can see the name of the article, the publication it came from, the date the article was published, the number of words, and the reading level. This symbol here, the content level, the color and number of dots indicate how easy or hard the article is to read. So the more dots on that square is the harder it is to read, and I think it goes up to 5. So 3 is a nice middle ground, and that would certainly work for us. However, I do think I would like to read articles more recent if I can. So this one's 2018, 2019. I'm going to keep scrolling and see if I can find anything from 2020 or maybe 2021. Now, something to consider is how much has my topic changed in recent events. So, school dress code certainly has had some things come up when we're looking more at equity in the US and we're looking more at how are we treating students of different cultural and racial backgrounds, and are they being treated fairly in school? So I think it's really important to include articles from the more recent years because I think some major moves have been made in that area in the US, and that's something that I'd like to look at in my research. But maybe if I had a topic like educational testing, finding an article that was just published in the last couple of years might not be as important for my research. So this one is from Education Week, which is a great journal. They published this on March 11th of 2020. It's a 2,000-word article, which is a little long, but I certainly don't have to read the whole thing. So I'm going to click on the title, and that opens up the article for me. I actually have selected on my computer to make the font pretty big. That makes it easier for me to read, but I can also make the font smaller, and that is just whatever your preference is. You can also listen to the article read by hitting that listen button. It sounds like a robot.
Why do schools hang on to discriminatory dress code?
But some people really benefit from hearing something read aloud to them, so you certainly have that option. If you're in class, you probably would want to use headphones. So here I have my 2,000-word article on school dress codes from Education Week. I scrolled to the bottom just to see how long it is. I think I'm going to save it. Maybe I've read the first couple paragraphs and I saw something that I would really like to use in my research. I can choose Send to Google Drive. And once again, if we go to our Google Drive and then update our recent page, the article pops right up to the top of that list, and I can see that I have it on my Google Drive. Now I'm going to pop back over to Gale because once we save our article, the next thing we want to think about is how are we including it in our citations. So it's easier to delete something from your citations than it is to re-find it. So I suggest if you're saving the article, the very next thing you do is send it to your Noodle Tools. So I'm already logged into my Noodle Tools. Remember, you can find the link on our argument essay resources. Under Works Cited and Citations, there's a Noodle Tools link, and you can click that. You're going to log in with your school Google account. I have already done that, so I'm in my Noodle Tools, and I already set up a project for argument essay educational testing. So I will be able to easily send that article right over. So at the bottom of the article is the source citation information. They do have a version of it here that I could copy and paste if I needed to, but there's this handy export to Noodle Tools button, and when I select that, it shows me a quick overview of the citation. I like that I'm checking the author's name. It seems to be capitalized normally. Same with the article title, publication title. Those are quick things that I can just check to make sure this makes sense. So I can say these references look good. I won't need to edit them. Then I'm going to go under project and make sure it's saving to the right project. I've named my project Argument Essay Educational Testing to make it nice and easy for me, and then I'm going to click Import References. So this says it was successfully exported to my project. So I can close out of that tab. Okay, so that is just a quick overview of how we use a Gale database. As always, if you are stuck with your research and you need help, you can ask Mrs. Berryune through email or in person. You can find her in the library, find me in the library, and I'm happy to help you. Good luck.